What if the next American ghost town isn't some remote desert outpost, but a major city with millions of residents? From Miami's flooded streets to Phoenix's water crisis, some of the biggest cities in the U.S. are teetering on the edge, not from war or sudden collapse, but from a slow, deadly mix of climate disaster, vanishing budgets, and broken infrastructure. In this report, we're revealing 10 U.S. cities that may not survive the next 2 years unless drastic action is taken. These aren't speculative guesses. Every example is backed by hard data, official warnings, and real stories from the ground. So before you make your next big move or investment, you might want to hear this list. Number 10. Miami, Florida. Miami faces a double crisis: climate change and a collapsing insurance market. Rising sea levels and chronic flooding are becoming routine, while the cost to stay insured has spiraled out of reach. In 2023 alone, insurance premiums in Florida soared by 42%, with homeowners in Miami paying an average of over $11,000 per year, more than 6 times the national average. A dozen insurers have left the state, forcing many into the state-run Citizens program, often with even higher costs. Economist Ben Keyes from Wharton calls this the first mass-market price of climate change. Miami's low-lying areas now flood during seasonal king tides, with saltwater pushing into homes. Though the overall population has grown, these environmental costs are forcing working-class families to reconsider staying, especially as extreme storms intensify. Number 9. New Orleans, Louisiana. New Orleans is crumbling under the weight of decades of climate trauma and a rapidly deteriorating financial base. Hurricanes and relentless flooding have pushed insurance companies out, and 40% of Louisiana's repeat flood insurance claims originate from the New Orleans metro. As carriers exit, homes are underinsured or completely uninsured. Infrastructure is failing too. During the August 2022 floods, the city's aging water system nearly collapsed. Meanwhile, the city is shrinking fast. 28,400 people left between 2020 and 2024, a 3.9% drop, the largest of any U.S. metro. Local reports describe multi-generational families packing into single homes or fleeing flood-prone districts. Climate change may be the trigger, but it's inadequate infrastructure and underfunded systems that are pushing New Orleans toward the brink. Number 8. Oakland, California. Oakland is staring down the barrel of a full-blown fiscal collapse. In 2024, the city revealed a $93 million deficit despite years of cost-cutting. Worse, it overspent by $27.5 million and now needs to slash $115 million to avoid insolvency. Hopes of bailing out the budget with redevelopment projects like the Coliseum sale have repeatedly failed. Amid budget shortfalls, a recall of the mayor and political infighting have only made matters worse. A city council report bluntly states that Oakland could become financially irrecoverable if it doesn't act quickly. Services are already shrinking. Parks, safety, and public services are taking direct hits. Residents face sky-high rents and declining infrastructure, a mix that could turn a budget crisis into a humanitarian one if left unchecked. Number 7. Houston, Texas. Houston's future is being swallowed by floods. Years of severe storms, like Harvey and Imelda, have left the city scrambling to fund repairs. By mid-2025, it had poured an unplanned $100 million into drainage fixes, deepening a $330 million budget gap. Each flood diverts funds away from basic services, leaving the city scrambling to balance the books. Insurance claims in Texas are among the nation's highest, and homeowners in floodplains struggle to rebuild. Officials now warn that court-mandated flood infrastructure upgrades could lead to drastic budget cuts, including to police and fire departments. Communities like Meyerland and Third Ward face regular displacement. Poorer neighborhoods in Harris County remain especially vulnerable, with chronic water damage and slow recovery threatening to lock residents in a cycle of loss. Number 6. Chicago, Illinois. Chicago's financial crisis centers on pension debt and dwindling resources. The city faces a $1 billion shortfall just for pensions, with total liabilities surpassing $35 billion, double the city's annual budget. As ratings agencies downgrade Chicago's bonds, pressure mounts. COVID-era shifts to remote work have emptied downtown buildings, slashing property tax revenue. As revenue dries up, services are being cut, transit fares are up, school positions remain unfilled, and retirees face reductions in benefits. One analyst summarized it best: debt and pensions are eating the city alive. Without structural reform, Chicago may soon be unable to afford basic investment, with ripple effects on transportation, education, and public health services. Number 5. San Francisco, California. San Francisco is in a bind, caught between massive budget gaps and intensifying climate risks. The city announced a $781.5 million deficit for fiscal year 2025, prompting plans to cut up to 12% from the general fund. The growing cost of pensions, homelessness response, and vanishing federal support are driving the shortfall. Add to that climate concerns. Rising sea levels now threaten multi-billion-dollar bayfront infrastructure. Protecting the Bay Area alone could cost $110 billion by 2050, with $2.4 billion tagged for San Francisco specifically. In 2024, the city endured severe heat waves and wildfire smoke. These environmental costs, on top of the country's highest housing prices, are turning one of the world's most expensive cities into one of its most financially fragile. Number 4. Las Vegas, Nevada. Las Vegas's future hinges on a single factor: water. Nearly all of southern Nevada's supply comes from Lake Mead, which in May 2025 was only 33% full, a dangerously low level. Experts now fear record low levels could return this summer, threatening both residents and tourism. The city has promoted aggressive conservation, but it's not enough. Population growth continues unchecked, while water allocation from the Colorado River is being slashed. In 2025, federal cuts hit Nevada hard, reducing its share along with Arizona's. Las Vegas's ability to sustain its casinos, suburbs, and economic growth is now in question. Without bold new solutions, the city's desert dream could become a mirage. Number 3. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Philadelphia is struggling with a climate bill it can't pay. A 2023 citywide estimate said it would need $3.3 billion by 2040 to prepare for extreme heat, flooding, and rising sea levels. That's roughly $190 million per year, or more than the budgets of nearly all city departments. Just revamping stormwater drainage would eat up 96% of the streets department's current funding. Philadelphia already faces systemic challenges: limited green space, deep poverty, and aging infrastructure. As grant programs for flood and heat relief are cut, vulnerable residents face mounting danger. Without federal intervention, the city could see preventable deaths and infrastructure collapse, while struggling to balance rising climate costs. Number 2. Phoenix, Arizona. Phoenix is reaching a climate breaking point. In 2023, Arizona paused new housing development on land relying on groundwater, fearing long-term depletion. This move halted the suburban sprawl that has defined Phoenix for decades. Water woes are only half the story. 2024 brought 100 consecutive days over 100 degrees Fahrenheit, obliterating previous heat records. The power grid struggled to keep up, and public health warnings became the norm. With water levels in the Colorado River declining and electricity demand surging, Phoenix is being forced to reevaluate its growth. Many families now live under near-constant water restrictions, and the strain is showing. For some, the desert is no longer livable. It's a liability. Number 1. Jackson, Mississippi. Jackson stands as a warning of what happens when infrastructure collapses completely. In 2022, the city's aging water system failed after storms and deep freezes, leaving tens of thousands without running water. The city was already losing up to 13 billion gallons a year to leaks. Poor planning and years of underfunding made recovery nearly impossible. By 2024, many residents were still boiling water to cook or wash. Poverty is high. About 1 in 4 residents live below the line. And public health continues to decline. Families haul buckets to bathe, and emergency stations distribute bottled water weekly. The EPA called Jackson a case of compound neglect. Unless billions are invested soon, the city could be one major storm away from collapse. What connects these 10 cities isn't just crisis, it's warning. The climate isn't waiting, and the bills are coming due. From rising seas to shattered water systems, these places show us what happens when infrastructure neglect meets economic pressure and natural extremes. Some cities might adapt, others may shrink. But one thing is clear: ignoring the warning signs is no longer an option. If this breakdown helped you understand the stakes, give it a like and share it with someone planning to move or invest in these areas. And don't forget to subscribe for more sharp, data-driven breakdowns of global trends, right here on Discovering the World. The future is already unfolding. Will your city survive it?